Thursday's problem says they want you to solve the following logarithmic equation. Be sure to check your answers. And the hint here is that this is from chapter 3. So on the left-hand side of the equation, we see two logarithms, both with the base of 6. Log base 6 of x minus 9 plus log base 6 of x is supposed to be equal to 2. Well, whenever solving log equations, one of the first things you want to ask yourself is how many logarithms do you have? In this problem, we have 2 logarithms. And the second question you want to ask yourself is where are the logarithms located? In this particular problem, they're both on the same side. So when we have logarithms with the same base that occur on the same side, your very first step is to combine the logarithms on the same side using contraction. So I see that there is a plus sign in between these 2 logarithms. That indicates that when you pull these 2 logarithms back together as one, that the things that they were taking the logs of need to be multiplied. So x minus 9 needs to get multiplied with x inside of a log base 6. Now that you have done that, again, you should ask yourself how many logarithms are there. At this point, there's now only one logarithm. So now that you get down to only one logarithm, you should convert your equation into exponential form. 6 is the base, 2 is the exponent. So we have to take 6 and square it. That's this side of the equation, is going to equal whatever the logarithm was taking. So x minus 9 times x. So what I did next was I distributed the x through the parentheses here. That's going to give me x squared minus 9x. And on the right-hand side, 6 squared is 36. This is a quadratic equation. And remember, if you want to solve a quadratic equation, you want to get it set equal to 0. So the next step here is to solve the quadratic equation. I was trying to think of 2 numbers that would multiply together to make negative 36 and add together to make negative 9. Those 2 numbers are negative 12 and positive 3. So my factors are x minus 12 and x plus 3. And if those are my factors, then that means my 2 answers to this problem are x equals 12 and x equals negative 3. But remember that logarithms is one of the kinds of equations that you must check your answers for. It is a requirement. And what you want to remember about logarithms specifically is you cannot take the log of numbers that are either negative or equal to 0. So don't just look at the answer itself. Think about what would happen if you plug this in as the value of x into the original equation. If I put a 12 in here, we would be taking the log base 6 of 3. That's fine. And if we put 12 in here, you'd be taking log base 6 of 12. Again, that's fine. But if I put negative 3 in either here or here, that means you'd be taking the log of a negative quantity. This is not allowed, therefore that answer must be rejected. So your final answer to this problem is only x equals 12.